Can you turn that lamp on for me?
Welcome.
Thank you. All of a sudden, you all popped in. Let's use the little chat box, and if y'all can tell me if you can see me, that'd be awesome. Can y'all see me? I'll text you. Ah, my phone just died. Hey, Jared, can you get my cell phone charger? My phone just died.
Where's that?
It's in there by the recliner. In there by the recliner. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, you all. Ah. Now I can see the chat. Can you all see nothing on my screen? Says error. Yeah, can you all try refreshing the page? Thank you. If you'll just click the little refresh button, when you refresh it should. Thanks, Lindsay. Jamin, you can see us. Caitlin, she's in. All right, so Heather, try clicking refresh. You got it? Let me know, Heather, when you can see. Kristen, is yours working now? Katie? Brooke, you're good. If we can get Kristen, Katie, and Heather working, I think we'll be good. So here's our pact that we have to have. So at 8:30 at night, Mama's already had her shower. So y'all are not allowed to judge. There's no makeup and hair pulled up. My top knot's not nearly as cute as Katie Steffens, so y'all are not allowed to judge me. But I don't want to waste any time. So if you guys can all, Heather, let me know if you are in. I'll try to text you if I don't hear from you in a second. And Katie and Kristen, I'll text you all really quickly. Let's see. Some of it, if it's buffering like that, oh, Kristen, you're good. It may just be a little bit slow, and it may just be kind of internet speeds and that kind of thing. So Hopefully it won't be too slow for you. Let me make sure Katie's good. And Heather. Let's see. Oop, Heather's good. Okay. Katie. Okay, so Katie's good. It just keeps buffering. So that may just be some internet stuff, but hopefully we'll be okay. Courtney. Okay, Courtney can see us. We're good. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started because we have an exciting night. And I shall warn you that my husband is cleaning because Ashley's coming to my house tomorrow, so it's a disaster. So you may hear him in there scrubbing away. But I'm going to go ahead and get our class started because I'm excited. All right, y'all ready?
Hi, welcome to class number 1. This is called Why Ruby. And so what we're going to do in this next class is we are going to dig in and ask you this question. Why are you even in this class? Why do you want to get to Ruby? Ruby, on average, last year, paid a little over $80,000 in 1 year. Could you use an extra $80,000? Well, of course you could. But my question is, what's going to get you up out of bed every morning to go do that? You know what's going to do it? Dreams inside of you. And so here's my question. What do you want a year from now? What do you want 2 years from now? What do you want 5 years from now? What does your life look like? What house do you live in? What car do you drive? How much time do you have? Are you working all day long? Do you see your children? Or are you always wondering when you're going to have another vacation? And you know, it's not always about things and materialism, of course. You know what it's about? It's about growing and reaching and becoming more. And Advocare's tagline is we build champions. Champions have the courage to go after their dreams. Some of you have taken your dreams and somewhere along the way, maybe without even realizing it, you've abandoned your dreams. And some of you have even had a funeral for your dreams. You stuffed them in the ground, nailed the coffin shut, and said it's too painful because I don't know how I'm going to get there. And so we're handing you a shovel in this class. We're asking you to dig up those dreams and have a celebration because it's time to become more. It's time to stretch. It's time to do everything that you are called to do in this life. And so it's going to be a phenomenal class.
In this class, Jenny does an absolute phenomenal job about laying a foundation of why Ruby. So this is one of those classes you want to continue to come back through, throughout your Advocare journey, because you're always going to have new dreams and new journey, and so this is one of those classes you definitely want to revisit. So let's join Jenny right now in class 1, in session, Why Ruby.
Welcome to our first class, and the title of this class is called Why Ruby. And my goal for this class is to absolutely convince you to the deepest part of your being that Ruby is worth going for, and that nothing can stop you. This is something that came to me this last week, and that is that people will not do what they don't believe and what they don't understand. People will not do what they don't believe and what they don't understand. Everybody wants Ruby income. Everybody does. Who would not want an extra $80,000 in their bank account every year? But we need to get the belief there, and we need to help you understand. And that is the goal over the next 6 weeks. And it starts right now. Believe and understand. So there's 4 stages that you're going to go through in life, in anything that is worth going for. And so I'm going to teach you what this path is going to look like because I want you to be aware of what the destiny is going to look like, or the path is going to look like. So these next 6 weeks, and then also to Ruby, and also to Diamond, and beyond in your whole entire AdvoCare lifespan, you're going to really walk through 4 stages. And we call them the 4 stages of a dream. These are 4 stages that I personally have not found a way to get around them. I have not found a way to skip one of these steps, go around, shortcut around it, around the steps I don't like. These are literally predictable 4 stages of a dream, and I want to teach that to you because it really will set you free to know what's ahead. So the first stage, I'm going to do it kind of in a graph this way. The first stage is the dream phase. And this is called the 4 stages of a dream. The dream phase is the first moment that you met the person you knew you were going to marry. It's the moment that the pregnancy stick went positive. It's the moment that you got excited about AdvoCare and you saw a glimpse of what your future could be. It's the moment of conception dream. And this is what you look like in this phase. This is what your thought process is. Right here. Okay? You are, and in fact, let's do this, because it's like a Bob smile, like teeth and all. This is the moment you go, I'm going to get to Ruby. And you know what? Let me tell you something. This is a very necessary stage of the dream. If you were a person that when you got proposed to, and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, but you know what? We're probably going to have marital problems. If you were that person that didn't let this stage sink in, then we call you extremely negative, okay? So you do need to have this phase. You need to have this like, I'm on cloud 9 phase. This is the phase that gives you this amazing energy that you don't. This is what your thought process is in the back of your mind. This looks easy. This is going to be easy. This is going to be great, okay? And that's a phase. That's an actual phase that you walk through. And your emotional, so we say your emotional phase is here, okay? Down here, unknown to you, okay, is your level of skill, your ability in this certain context of whatever your dream is. So your skill is here, your excitement, your emotional heighten is up here, so if we draw dots, you're here and here, okay? So what happens next is what we call the distress phase. Unfortunately, this is the next step. And as high as you were is as low as you go. Because all of a sudden, you know too much. You now know that you didn't know. So there's an awareness. We call this being unaware of your skill level, and then you enter awareness. So down here is this little face. And its eyebrows are like that. And people are different. Some people cry there. Some people get mad there. Some people get quiet there. Some people get loud there. Some people complain there. There's all sorts of emotions going on within a person's personality or a form of venting or whatever. And so this emotional line goes down here and it meets. So the skill and the emotional line meet right there. This is the phase where people quit, okay? Because they think, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm absolutely frustrated. I don't feel like I know how to do this. So let me take this out of AdvoCare for a second. And being married is definitely one of those that can feel this way. Because I remember that first year going, why does he not want to talk? I know it's 11 o'clock at night. We have a lot of connecting to do. I don't know why he's tired. You know, I mean, I just couldn't figure him out. I couldn't figure out his wiring. I couldn't figure out why he wasn't like me. And what I realized was, I really don't understand marriage. So I had to get some books, Amazon.com. I had to start getting DVDs. I had to start learning. There was a phase of kind of being frustrated because I didn't want to learn. I just wanted him to change, to be the way I wanted it to be, okay? I'm not proud of that, but we went through that phase. Okay, kids, let's talk about pregnancy. The pregnancy stick was positive. You're high-fiving people. You're calling your family. We're pregnant. We're so excited. You go to Home Depot. You pick out the paint. You know, you don't know what sex it is yet, but it doesn't matter. You're buying clothes, blue and pink, because it can be either. You know, you're doing all of that, and then 2 weeks later, you're doubled up over the toilet, and you're barfing. That is not when you're calling people. That is not when you're saying, I'm so excited. Hold on a second, you know. And here's the thing. Pay attention. The thing about this phase is that just like a pregnancy, there's a little, you know, do you know that the size of a baby at that time is less than the size of a grain of rice? So this little tiny seed of a dream is inside of you, and you have nothing to show for it. But it's in there, right? And all of the, you know, just that phase, like, I didn't see me like this, right? And also, guess what? Other people sometimes don't believe you, right? So Bob, he's so great because he has the engineer mind, so he has the 2 + 2 = 4 thing. So when I showed him the pregnancy test, he goes, are you sure? And so the big joke in my family was maybe he'll believe you when the baby's crowning, you know, because I didn't have anything to show for it. I'm like, no, really, I'm pregnant. Those things don't lie. And then my stomach started popping out. And then when it was out to here, you know, getting bigger and bigger, people started going, oh, are you okay? Here, why don't you sit down? Let me get you a seat. And I'm like, I'm great. It was when nobody really knew I was pregnant that I really needed help, you know, because I didn't feel that great. So the distress phase is a really weird phase because you don't have necessarily evidence of people in your business. You don't have this huge organization that warrants that emotional feeling you have. Does that make sense? You have 3 distributors and you feel like barfing. And somebody over here has 30, 40, 50 distributors and they're on cloud 9. So obviously if I up just a little bit and I'm going through this distress, then I don't have what it takes. And so people quit right there because they won't let it develop. Look in the mirror. This is the look in the mirror phase and say, what is going on with me? What do I need to change about me? And you know what a really healthy question is to ask? And those are for the courageous. This isn't part of your homework assignment, but this is for the courageous of you. This week, ask somebody, if there's one thing that you could change about me, what would it be? Because this business is not about vitamins. It's about people wanting to be around you. That's why our assignment through this last week was how to win friends and influence people. If they like you and want to be around you, they will follow you and bring their friends. You have to be strong. You have to have a vision. People want to follow somebody who knows where they're going. Okay? So this is just to get you to think. So to get out of this phase, the skill level is what pushes that emotion back up. So all of a sudden, you get to here, okay? And this is called the development phase, okay? Development is just that. You're going to develop some skills. Read the book. Go back and revisit a chapter that your spouse says, yeah, that might be a good chapter to put a little dog ear in. And don't be offended by that. You can't take anything personal. This is not, you know, pride is very expensive. It'll cost you your future and your destiny. Let's just put pride away for 6 weeks. Let's just say, you know what, I have some things to learn, and everybody else does too, and I'm in the learning tank, and that's okay. It's okay that I'm not perfect. It's okay that I don't have everything figured out. And it's okay that I'm learning, and I'm going to be patient with myself. You've got to have a lot of patience with yourself through this so you can learn and baby steps through this. Now, this is about here. So your smiley face is not smiling necessarily, but it's kind of, you're kind of starting to crack a smile. You don't have the big teeth blown yet, okay? But you're a little happier. You're kind of in between, not as high as you thought you'd be, right? And then the third phase, the development phase, says, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm getting the hang of it. I'm not a diamond. I might not be as far as so-and-so, but I think wow. When I do 3-way calls, they sign up as customers, distributors, and advisors. And I think I'm getting the hang of this. And I think I figured out how to invite people to mixers so they show up instead of no-show me. Okay? So you're getting the hang of it. And this is important, right? This is that phase in pregnancy where you get to that 2nd, 3rd trimester and you go, whew, okay, I think I'm feeling better here, okay? And then your skill level, of course, climbs at this point because it's forced to, and destination here. So destination is actually all the way up here, and I know this is kind of a mess. And we're going to put a big smile, teeth and everything, and then we put a crown on your head. And it's higher. It's higher than the dream. So you go down and all the way back up. Destination says this: it's better than I imagined. It is better than I imagined. Anybody that's had a baby, the first time you held the baby, wasn't it better than you imagined? Wasn't it? You couldn't imagine that moment, the first baby you have. You cannot imagine it. Once you get through that first year and second year of marriage and you get through some stuff, my marriage with my husband is better than I imagined from the first day that I fell in love with him. It is better because we had to go through some stuff. We had to work through some stuff. We had to learn some stuff, and we had to change some stuff to get through it. AdvoCare, my highest dream, my highest destination was $10,000 a month. My highest aspiration was $10,000 a month. I could not see a dollar more. I could not see a penny more. So the first year, we were here, went down here, came up here, and we had $10,000 a month. But I didn't realize how free you were at $10,000 a month. I knew that $10,000 a month would be important, but I didn't realize that that would mean a whole lot more for my life. And then why do you have a crown on your head? Because you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until you create a crown, and that your life. Your life needs to be a series of going through these phases in your life. It's just like kids. You have the baby, you take the baby home, and you start another round. Because the baby, you find out, wakes up every 2 hours to eat. Wow. I immediately went from dream of raising this child to I am absolutely exhausted. I have not slept for more than a 3-hour time span. I've not taken a shower in 4 days. Okay, and you do it all over again, and then you get up out of that infant stage and you go, oh my gosh, I love this baby. Look at them, their personality's coming out. And then you get pregnant again because you forgot about this. Okay? And people go, how do you keep doing AdvoCare? Because we forget. We forget about that phase. It's beautiful. Because this is so great, it overshadows and it makes you forget this stuff. You fight through the distress phase. Can you do it? Yes, you can. I know you can. I've seen too many people do it. I've seen myself do it. And if I can do it, so can you. So a Ruby in 2010, the average income for a Ruby distributor was $80,858. The average Ruby in 2010 made $80,858. What would that do for you? $80,858 part-time. What would that do for you? What we tolerate, we give permission to exist. Some things have to get out of the way for some new things to come in. What are you going to have to get out of your life in order to make space for a Ruby business? If something right now is bothering you about your life, if you tolerate it, you give it permission to exist. Let me give you an example. I hate rodents. There's nothing more icky to me than like a mouse. When you will see me like 6 foot vertical, if something ran through here, I just don't know what it is about rodents. I cannot handle rodents. Oh, anything like that. And so I can just, you know, white girl jump all the way higher than you've ever seen. Hate them. If I see a mouse, I'm like calling exterminators, and we've had mice in our house. Oh, everything in my life drops until that thing is found and it's dead and I know it's dead. okay? And I make sure, Bob, did you see it dead? Did you take its pulse? Because I don't want that thing in my house. If I go, oh my gosh, ooh, I hate mice, and then I just let it go, and then anyway, now what show was I watching? Okay? What you tolerate, you give permission to exist. I promise you, the little mouse wasn't going to look at me and go, wow, I don't think she likes me. I guess I'll go to another house. Those things in your life are not going to invite themselves out of your life. You must kick them out of your life. You must go after them. You must exterminate them. So here's what I want you to know. You make a list of those things that you cannot tolerate any longer, you do not want in your house. What are all the rats? What are all the mice? What are all the spiders? See, for whatever reason, I'm not scared of spiders, unless they're gigantic, tarantula stuff. But spiders don't bug me. But what is it that bugs you so bad? You want to exterminate them, because if you go after those things, the things you want start showing up.
There's a place to make your list, you all,
there's only so much space
on your worksheet.
Stuff in your life. And I'm not doing stuff like cars. And yeah, you might have on your list, I'm driving a car, bumping down the road, don't know if I'm going to get there, whatever. And maybe you hate, you absolutely despise the vehicle you're driving. Then that goes on your list. My story of intolerance is this. When I first found Advocare, we really literally never saw Bob. So when I said, hey, can we talk, can we connect? Quality time is my huge love language. And so not seeing him, it was a huge gap in our marriage. When I found Advocare, I saw time. And I could not imagine living my life with a minute here and a minute there with Bob the rest of my life. I could not imagine it. It was absolutely disgusting to me. And so that's what I went to get rid of. Okay, that was my intolerability. And that did drive me. That drove me to get out of my comfort zone.
Hang on.
Hi, welcome to class number 1. This is called Why Ruby. And so what we're going to do in this next class is we are going to dig in and ask you this question. Why are you even in this class?
Oops.
Why
Hang on,
do
wrong
you
one.
want to get to Ruby? Ruby, on average, last year, paid a little over $80,000 in 1 year. Could you use an extra $80,000?
Hang on.
Hi.
Okay, so what you guys are going to do is we're getting ready to start class 2, but part of your homework is going to be actually going through and kind of reading through these worksheets. We're not going to do that here just to save us time because these videos are kind of long, so you're going to do these on your own and then you're going to turn them in as part of your homework. So you can see she answered a lot of these questions, but like number 5 where it says pause and think about this, let's imagine that this income be deposited into your account every pay period. So these are the questions that you're going to answer, and then you're going to do the homework, on that back page, and there's other homework here. I'm getting a list of Ruby and above leaders for you guys to contact. So when you look over at the Why Ruby, I think it's page 5, there's going to be a Ruby or above distributor that you're going to call between now and Monday and talk to them and ask them these questions. So all those little worksheet things, those are things that you guys are going to, do kind of on your own and then turn it in. So let's flip on over now to where it says worksheet class number 2. Oops, let's see. Lindsay, yours is buffering. So if it's buffering, you guys, what you can do is just hit refresh, and you might have to rewind just a little bit. When we did this in January with Ashley and Ryan, it's the same kind of thing. Here's the deal. So, like, everybody's internet speeds are just a little bit different, so that's why it's kind of buffering. So if you need to, just refresh and kind of rewind a little bit, and you'll be able to catch up. Hope that helps. If not, let me know. But we're going to go ahead and start class 2.
We're going to head into class number 2, and it's called What's Your Story? Okay, focus in with me, because we all know that a good story compels an audience to move. And then when you want to influence somebody to join your team and to join your dream, you better have a good story. Because if your story is long and boring and technical, people are not going to want to follow you. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of your story. You're going to perfect your story. And you know what we did in this class? And I encourage you in your workshop to do this. We had a bowl with everybody's name in it, and we drew a name every class. And somebody right there on the spot had to give their 2-minute story that they had been practicing. And so that's something that we're going to encourage you to do, is to always be ready with your story. And so you're going to learn so much in this next class.
And you want to pay attention to the details. And that's one thing about the stories that are so powerful. You want to make sure you develop a compelling story. It's your story. So make sure that when people are saying yes or no, pay attention to those details. So let's join Jenny in the classroom right now. Class number 2, What's Your Story?
The title of this next class is called What's Your Story? When somebody looks at you and looks at Advocare, what's going to draw them to you is your story. It's your testimony. And your story is not just, I'm going to blurb it out and hope it sounds good on the spot. I'm a very spontaneous person. I'm an activator. I just kind of do it as I go. But what I realized is that preparing in my story is actually very important. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about this. You are the preview to the movie. Your story is the preview to the movie. You are the preview. What's the movie? Exactly. The movie is when they meet your sponsor in person at a 2-on-1 appointment, or they get on the phone with your sponsor, or they come to a mixer. That's when they get to see it. So sometimes we accidentally become the movie in our story. And then what happens to our story? Okay, we call this fire hosing, okay? So let me tell you what fire hosing is. Fire hosing is just that. Think of a fire hose. It's a one-way conversation that's not really a conversation, because there's only one person talking, and it's coming full blast, and it's too long, because you're just trying to almost like get the paint, like rip the Band-Aid off. Like, let me just tell them all about it. Maybe they'll just say yes, you know? And it's because you're not necessarily being patient with the process. Okay? Now here is what's going to make you feel better. I don't know one person who fire hose somebody. Bob has done it. We've all fire hosed somebody. But here's the difference. Successful people stop doing it. They intentionally stop fire hosing. Unsuccessful people keep doing it and going, oh, I just keep doing that. So the distress phase lasts longer for that person. Remember the distress phase from the last class? It's a skill. A skill is learn your story. Remember, how do you get out of the distress phase? And I will say this, the distress phase is as long as you want it to be, based on how fast you learn and change and grow your skills. Make sense? You're in charge of that. You are in charge of how fast you get out of that sucker, because I don't like it either. So you want to learn your story because it's a skill in this business. Okay? Built upon a burning purpose. Is this all starting to add up and make sense? So you have 2 stories. You have your 30-second story, and you have your 2-minute story. Those are really the 2 types of stories you have. Okay? So write this down. Stories sell, facts tell. Stories sell, facts tell. I have met a person that talks way too much, fire hoses about themselves and what happened, and then this, and then play by play, and I was sick that day, I was laying on the couch, and then my mom called, wanted me to try Spark, I didn't want to. 3 months later, she made me do it again, and it's just on, and play by play, and the person just goes, I can't take it anymore. Okay, that's fire hosing. But the pendulum, there is another side. That's that person that doesn't like to talk anything about themselves. They're very afraid of talking about themselves, so they just talk about the facts of AdvoCare. This Spark is so great. It has mental focus. It has XYZ amount of this in it, and it has this facts. We have great doctors. Facts, good facts, but they don't want to bring the story in the middle. Does this make sense to you? Okay. So that is my plan in this class, is to teach you how to be great at telling your story, built upon your burning purpose. So before I move into that, I do need to highlight that some of you think, oh, I really don't have a great story because I haven't lost weight. Do you have to have a weight loss story to have a great story? No. Do you have to have an income story? Okay, why not? Because of the Impact magazine. We borrow stories or we steal stories because they're in here. Because stories sell. I didn't say your story sells. Stories sell. Stories sell. So you borrow stories. So you know what? I did not lose 1 pound my first year in AdvoCare because I didn't have to until I had kids, and then I did become a weight loss story. But on the front end, I didn't have any weight to lose. So you know whose story I stole? My mom. Broken record. I said it all the time. My mom lost 5 dress sizes in 13 weeks. I stopped, and people go, wow, really? That was it. I didn't need to lose weight because my mom did. It was that easy, everybody. It was that easy. Okay? But I had a purpose. So I had an excitement to it. I had no problem stealing another story because I had purpose. Now, you can go through this Impact magazine and pick out ones that excite you and learn this, because you know what? You're going to meet somebody, and here's the thing. You want to draw people in and make them part of the story, and all they want to do is just connect with something that's kind of like them. So if I meet somebody that doesn't have any weight to lose, I'm not going to say, hey, I didn't lose weight on AdvoCare, but this person did, and I know you don't. And now we're having this random conversation that has nothing to do with them. Odd. So you're being intentional about the story, right? Before you can tell your story, what do you need? You need the reason to tell them a story, right? Because you can't just stand on the street corner and go, hey, I got a story. There is like okay, I'm my neighbor. How should I talk to her? You have to start, okay? So you need a conversation starter, right? And so what we call this is a transitional statement or a transitional question. It transitions you into your story, okay? Now, there's 2 types of things that happen in AdvoCare. Number 1, somebody, by the grace of God, says, wow, I am so tired today. And you're like, oh, that's the best. That's the best when it's just like, open door, walk on through. Because then you're like, oh, wow, seriously? Have you ever tried AdvoCare? Have you ever had a Spark? Bob says, have you ever tried energy drinks? And they'll be like, yeah, well, what do you think of them? I don't know. So it's just something to open the door up. I usually say, oh, wow, I need to give you a Spark. That's what I drink. It's just a transitional statement. It's just you got to try this. And it's something, for me, it's never canned. It's not like, have you heard of AdvoCare? We were founded in 1993 by Charlie Regas. Okay? It's literally something simple as, oh my gosh, I got to have you try Spark. That's a transitional statement. Now, what about all the people that don't open the door for you? Those are the ones. Those are the ones who are like, what am I going to say? Wow. So that's going to look a little bit different according to the person you're talking to, and it's never canned. It's not black and white. But if you're calling somebody, you need your own transitional statement. And I don't want to give you one because I've heard people say what they say and it worked for them, but if it's not mine, then it doesn't feel like mine and I don't own it. Does that make sense? So you're going to be in the workshop, you're going to be writing a transitional statement. What is it that you're going to say to somebody that's going to allow you to tell your story? Now, what is the point of telling your story? It's kind of a little quiz. What is the single littlest point for telling your story? Sure.
To get their interest, get their excitement.
Okay, you're onto that. Connect. Yeah, those are all actually right in line with the answer. It's to start a conversation. That's it. It's as simple as just to get a free-flowing back and forth conversation between two people. Hopefully bad advocare. Sometimes not. Sometimes it starts another conversation, and that's okay. So is your goal for them to whip out their wallet and give you their Visa and hope they have $2,100 on it? I've never had that personally happen to me, just telling my story really fast. I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. It'd be great. But all I'm trying to do is just get something between us. Just get like the connection and to pique their interest, but it's really to get a conversation. I just want to get talking with them. So being afraid of talking with people has to go. If that's you, flip back to the last workshop into the T-chart. What's got to go? Fear of talking to people has to go. Right? Has to go. And I will add this in. I gave myself permission, and you give yourself permission right now, that the conversation doesn't have to lead to an advocate sell. It doesn't, I don't know where it's going to go. And it's okay. Maybe I just made a friend. Maybe I just sampled them. Maybe the only thing I ever did for them was give them 3 to 5 hours of mental focus when I gave them a sample. Maybe that's all I ever did for them. And the day that I said it was okay, that's all I ever did in a conversation, was the day I started talking to a lot more people and using my transitional statement. Because I just thought, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, like a bunch of flowers in a garden, I'm just going to open up a whole bunch of conversations and see which one just goes nuts. But I had to stop being afraid I was going to do it wrong. Okay? So you need a transitional statement. Bob was on the golf course today, and he said that the caddy, I think it was on hole 12, if I'm right about this, the caddy, they're walking, and he waits until the caddy or whoever he's with is, you know, you don't spark him at the beginning. You spark them when they're tired. And so he said to him, hey, have you ever tried energy drinks? See, the guy didn't say, wow, I'm tired. Bob said, do you ever try energy drinks? And the guy goes, yeah, sometimes. And he goes, well, I got something for you. You got to try this. That was his transitional statement. Or he has a transitional question because he's so good at this. He always has questions. Questions are really good transitions. And so he started mixing it up. He goes, here, drink this. You see that the next green? You're going to feel mental clarity like you've never felt in another energy drink. And he just cast a vision of what's going to happen next. So that is how you open up a conversation. And so what Bob did there on the golf course is what I want to use the example of a 30-second story. A 30-second story is 2 parts. Number 1, the first thing is, what you're saying is, this happened to me. Like Bob, I'm sure he inserted in there. Oh, and I will say this, the transitional statement is up here, because you haven't started the story yet, right? Transitional statement here and here. And I'll tell you when you use which one here in a second, okay? Transitional statement leads you into the story. This happened to me. Now, I know this is not good English. This is sometimes how we talk. You gotta try it. You gotta try this. You're gonna love this. Check this out. Because it's not, oh yeah, I love Spark. So, what are you doing tonight? You know, that would be leaving off the second part. You got to try this. This stuff is so good. You got to try these products. This happened to me. I'm sure Bob inserted in there. Man, I drink this every time I golf, and right when I get to this hole, I always drink this because it just pushes me all the way through. The guy was a caddy. So Bob was connecting with this is what he does for a living, right? So this is what happens to me. This is what I do. Doesn't that sound like almost too easy? Do you know that that's how we get people on product? That's how we get people into AdvoCare? What if Bob were just to camp out the rest of the time and just start blasting with AdvoCare? He didn't. But what he did do was get his name and number so that they can connect again. Because recruiting is a process. It's not a one-time event. Not a one conversation thing, okay? So this happened to me. You got to try it. You should check it out. That type of thing. Now in here, you might invite them to the third party. That might happen. I'm not saying it happens every time, but you might say, "Hey, we have a get together this, coming Thursday. You want to come check this stuff out?" Okay, that might be something that you do. So the 30-second story is that's really the minute part of my teaching, because the 30-second story is just a total nibble of AdvoCare. It's not even an appetizer. It's like a tiny little nibble. You throw it out there because it's the elevator story. It's the, you're checking out groceries at the grocery store, and the lady, you say, "Hey, how are you? I'm so tired. I can't wait till I get off." Transitional statement. Because it's like, okay, what do I say? What do I say? How do I spark her? How do I get it? And then it's like, okay, never mind. And you just walk out. Your transitional statement, mine is, have you ever tried AdvoCare? Oh my gosh, this stuff's amazing. And and then I'm just like, I drink this stuff every day. Oh my gosh, it gets me through times where I'm thinking, is this day ever going to end? And it's so great. Here, try one, and I sample them. Okay, so remember, transitional statements are that little bridge you walk over to their world. It's your bridge, so you got to have it. But that's a real quick little nibble, just a little morsel of AdvoCare, okay? Now, your 2-minute story is where we're going to camp out for a second, because your 2-minute story is really, really important, because that's where you get to tell your business story. Your 2-minute story is your business story where you get to invite somebody into the success system and say, "Listen, I am looking for people to earn income with me." You're recruiting. Okay, you're like, come on in. So that is more something that you would do when you have a captured conversation. Okay, if that caddy would have turned to Bob and said, "This stuff is amazing. So seriously, tell me about it. Now, do you guys do this as a business?" I mean, he's now, they're pressing in, and now they've connected. Now, sometimes that doesn't happen to the third or fourth conversation down the road. It might be 6 weeks, it might be 6 days, it might be right then on the spot. But it's really hard to teach discernment. It's really hard, but there's timing involved. All of a sudden, that person is all ears, and they want to know. That's your 2-minute story. Now, sometimes your 2-minute story is you're calling your sister and you're saying, "Sis, I have something that I have got to talk to you about. Are you free for about 5 minutes? I called you for a specific reason." That's my transitional statement. I called you for a specific reason. Some of you have heard the story about Wayne and Sarah Johnson. She was on my chicken list for a year and a half. Chicken list meaning I'm too chicken to call her. Okay, a year and a half, and I just got absolutely like, if I don't call her, then I must not really care about people, because we were making $25,000 a month, and I wouldn't call her, and I kept thinking, you know what got me to pick up the phone? 2 things. Number one, a person off my chicken list, not her, got recruited. Okay, well, check. Okay, the second reason that got me to call her was I had to think that maybe she was supposed to make $25,000 a month too. And it'd be really selfish of me. And fear would keep her from having my freedom. Bothered me. That bothered me, that I would keep something so awesome away from somebody just because of a little tiny fear. So when I called her, I said, "Sarah, we hadn't talked in 9 years, you guys. From high school graduation, last time we talked, call her. I called you for a specific reason, Sarah. I'm really excited to catch up. Do you have 5 minutes that I can tell you about this?" "Yeah, I do. What is it?" I mean, she was all ears. And I told her my 2-minute story. not my 22-minute story. Okay? Right? In the beginning, when I told my story and picked up the phone, I actually had a timer. You know, back then we didn't have phones that had timers and cool stuff on it. So now you can put your timer on and just say, wow, I better get to the point right now. Because I have 30 seconds left, and I just told them the first 5 minutes of the day that I sparked, you know? I told them that I got up and worked out, and that has nothing to do with AdvoCare, you know? Why am I talking about that? Okay? People don't want play-by-play details. They want the preview. So let's go to the 2-minute story when you have that captured audience. And this is where you are going to, can I get down to the nitty-gritty here? Okay. Let's do this, because this is actually going to be, I'm going to erase the 30-second story and move into the 2-minute story here really quick. So there's 4 parts to your 2-minute story, and you're going to be writing this out in your homework assignment, okay? I delayed this in the past because it was such a heavy assignment for me to figure out my 2-minute story. I think it's women, because we're like, hello, I have 50 details that really matter. It was so hard for me to decide what didn't matter for some reason. So in your homework assignment, you're going to be partnering with somebody else that's going to tell you what part of that is fluff and doesn't matter. Because you need somebody else to tell you that. Because in you, it matters that you didn't work out that day and you normally do, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, because I usually take this product and at such and such vitamin store, and that really has to do with my sister when I met her at the gas station, because I ran out of gas and I was really frustrated that day. But then when I drank a Spark, do you see what I'm saying? You think all those details mattered, and so do I, but they don't. So the other person, when you guys do this with each other, because you're going to have another boot camp person you're going to do it with, you're going to say, hey, don't take it personal, but all that didn't matter to me. Okay, we have to be really honest with each other. Don't say, wow, that was really good, and then send them out into the world with that story. Don't do that. You're going to have to be the friend that when they have a little something on their nose, you're going to be like, yep, no, up, a little further. No, a little further. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Okay, you're good. You're going to have to be that friend, okay, on this story. Because I've heard people go, wow, that was such a good story. You know, and it really wasn't a good story. I mean, it was, but it was just hidden in a whole bunch of stuff. So in your story, you break it into 4 parts, and the person you're talking to doesn't know it's in 4 parts. It just flows with a burning purpose as its underlying theme, okay? Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Number 1 is where I was, not physically. It wasn't, I was driving in my car and my friend called me. Okay? Where were you that has anything to do with why you got on AdvoCare? Okay, where I was. And for me, back in 1999, where I was is I was waking up at 3 in the morning, going to 3 jobs during the day, getting home at 7 o'clock at night. I was exhausted, but worse than that, my husband and I had 0 time together, and it was never going to change. That was it. That was my life. So that's where I was. So this right here is 10 to 15 seconds right here. You don't have time for all the details right there. That is where, this is, okay, and this is what happens. People spend a lot of time on this one, and this is the one that matters the most. Number 4. People spend a ton of time on this one, and this is what matters. Number 2, what I saw. Okay, let me tell you what I saw in 10 to 15 seconds. Well, what I saw was a couple of 3 boys at 32 years old making $80,000 a month. They had all the time in the world. They had all the freedom in the world. It was all through a company called AdvoCare and these vitamins. That's what I saw. That's what grabbed me. What grabbed you? Not what I saw. Like, I saw a cute girl in a little cute outfit that came to a mixer. Not what you saw, okay? Not where you were, but where you were, okay? What you saw. What I see. I saw a life that I wanted, right? What did you see? So here's what happened. Now, what happened can be 45 to 60 seconds. This is going to be a little bit more Okay, 45 to 60 seconds. What happened was I decided to try the products. 15 minutes after trying them, I was like, wow. I got my mom on the products. She lost 7 pounds in her first week. I got Bob on the products. He ended up losing 25 pounds. And I decided I'm getting to advisor. I got to the top discount level, and I made $53 my first check. My second check, I made $450. And then the third check, I made $750. And I thought, I'm on to something big. That's what happened to me. Did you guys notice I didn't say I lost any weight? Did you guys even notice I didn't even say my story? I told my mom and Bob's in. Because I was actually more impressed by their stories. Sometimes you're more impressed by other people's stories, and it's okay, right? So that is literally what happened. And I'm telling my story now as if I was in my first year building to Ruby. And then where I'm going. This is the one about 30 to 45 seconds. This is the one that's the most important, yet left off. You have to be really intentional. That's why in the last class, sometimes about the future. Because this is your purpose. This is your purpose, right? And you don't have to say, and my purpose for doing this is, okay, that's not where you're going. What you're going to say is, this is where I see Advocare taking my family, and this is where I see Advocare taking you if you choose to join us. You know, you're telling your sister on the phone, you're telling your neighbor, you walked over next door, whatever. This is where we're headed with this. And what I said to people was, this is what I said on my way to Ruby. I said, I am looking for 3 people who want to earn $10,000 a month with me by this time next year. And the guy helping me makes $80,000 a month. So if he can make $80,000 a month and he's going to teach me, I'm pretty sure I can make 10. Okay, a couple things happened in that. Okay, where I'm going. What did you hear where I'm going? $10,000 a month. What else did you hear? 3 people to go with me. The guy that's helping me is making 80, right? So where you're going, there was a number. I know, it's really uncomfortable. We're on track to make. I don't know what you're on track to make. It has to be in you. What are you on track? Spit it out of your mouth. And say what you believe. Say what you believe. Spit out of your mouth. What are you on track to do? I said $10,000 a month, and I felt really uncomfortable saying it based on the look on their face. Because you can read people. The look on their face is, right, get back to me when that happens. The look on their face is, yeah, I tried one of those things too. The look on their face is, huh. But you know what? A couple people later, it was, really? Seriously? So tell me about it. And all I was looking for was the face that could connect with my vision. I wasn't looking for the downy faces, okay? I was just looking for the face that connect with my vision and would ask more to get in the conversation. What's the purpose of a story? To start a conversation. Remember? The purpose of a story is to start a conversation. So what happened in where I'm going? This is really important. Spit out a number. I'm looking for other people. 3 people is what I said. 3 people get to Ruby is what you're saying. It's going to take 3 people to get to Ruby. You learn that in the pay plan, but not until the end. So I'm telling you now, you're looking for 3. 3 people that want to earn that too. And here's really what's important. The guy helping me was a football coach and now makes $80,000 a month. And then the guy above him was an executive corporate member, and he makes about $15,000 a month. And the guy above him was a strength and conditioning coach, and he earns about $70,000 a month. So I have all this success, and this guy's going to help me. And he'll help you too. So you have to go to your lineage. Do you know your lineage? You just told them that there's success. You brought proof to the table of income success. I am shocked about how many people don't tell Bob and I's income and our story. You would not believe how many people do not. It is amazing. These other leaders that have hit Ruby and beyond, I promise you they camp out on their lineage. That they know that their lineage is their strength. They're dragging their lineage on a rope in every story. Like, look at him, look at them, look at them. This is what they used to do. And now they make this much, and they're helping me too, and we'll help you. I mean, doesn't that make you feel better? To know that you're not the first one in the lineage that's going to be successful? So you got to know your lineage, and you're going to learn that here in a little bit. You're going to probably ask the person that's around you in this room that's going to help you know your lineage. So when you end your story, because sometimes we fire hose just because we're not. Stop right there, okay? So you, where I'm going, certain number, looking for 3, lineage. Now you end it with a question. End it with a question. How do you end your story? With a question. Why? Because you're trying to start a conversation. It's not, can I get your business card? What's your email? That's not a conversation. That's a conversation about email. So what's your question? You need to have a question. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I can tell you my question. My question is, so I don't know your financial situation or your, what your future plans you have, but would you like to make $1,000 a month or more with me? Now, I just stepped in their comfort zone, friends, and out of mine. I literally unzipped my skin and stepped right on out. And in that sphere of we're talking about money now. Money's very emotional. And I just asked them a very vulnerable question. Well, if you want to go to Ruby and beyond, you are going to have to do that. Unzip your skin, walk out, and into their little sphere of that financial question. And then once you're in there, guess what? Uncomfortable silence. Because they're thinking. Uncomfortable silence. Okay, that's a skill. Remember distress, moving up out of distress into development? Uncomfortable silence is a skill. I promise you, if you've ever been on a 2-on-1 with Bob, you have experienced the sound of a pin dropping. Okay? You have heard, the rooster crow 3 miles away, and you're thinking, is he ever going to say anything? Are they going to? Okay? When you're in a third-party situation, guess what we don't like when you're the distributor? Guess why we say put yourself on mute? Because we want silence to let them think, and you are so new you don't like uncomfortable silence, so you jump in to bring comfort back into the picture. You're just coming in with your quilt. Oh, it's okay. So anyway, tell them about muscle fuel. You come in with the most awkward statements because you don't like that uncomfortable silence. Okay? I did that once to Danny. Because if looks could kill, I'd be dead. It was like a flash, and then I knew I did something wrong. Then it was over. I got it. And then after the appointment, he goes, did you see how you threw me off track? Did you see how you threw the conversation off track when you interrupted? Got it. Check. New skill for Jenny. Ego here. Pride here. Don't take it personal is a skill. I just learned a new skill. Does this make sense? It wasn't an attack against my personality. Danny was trying to help me learn a skill. It was called uncomfortable silences are important. Sound good? If you get an objection from somebody, oh, I've tried something like that before, what do you think you should do? Bulletproof shield, and we're going to learn that later in other classes. It's called the bulletproof shield. It's basically an objection you answer with an AdvoCare topic. To say, I'm not sure about that necessarily. I'm not an expert on that. What they just said, whatever that was that they just said, I'm not an expert on that. I'm not sure. But here's what I can tell you. My mom lost 5 dress sizes. I mean, inserted another AdvoCare fact. And we'll learn more about objections later because that's another skill is how to get through objections. And they're actually not that scary. They're actually really fun.
Okay, let's see. All right, can you guys see me again? We may be kind of delayed. So that is all of the videos for tonight. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry. I do have one more thing to show you. Hang on. So we are going to, I guess you saw your homework, is to work on our 2-minute story. So here are just a couple more two more really short videos I want you guys to see. Hang on. You're next. So I know you guys are nervous because I was too. So we're going to kind of cut out some mistakes before you ever even get started. So let's watch this really short video and then we'll talk for just a minute.
Hey Laura. Hey. How are you?
Yeah, we're getting ready to go camping.
Okay, yeah. Well, I totally called you because I want to tell you about this thing I'm doing. It's called AdvoCare, and it's these products, and I met this girl, and I was at the gym, and, I was taking step class. I mean, remember how much fun step is, and anyway, so I met this girl. She was totally pregnant, and she was so cute, and then, weeks later, I see her again. She looks amazing, and I followed her into the bathroom, and then, she started telling me about this stuff. It was vitamins, shakes, energy drinks, and she came over to my house, and oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing because Riley had just flushed an apple down the toilet and flooded our entire hallway, and we had ripped the carpet up, and she was she didn't even care, but it was just so embarrassing. I mean, can you imagine? And then anyway, so she got me on this stuff, and this energy stuff first, it was just way too much energy for me. I actually didn't feel that good. But then she started giving me something else, and that was better. And I'm actually losing weight now. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. And then JD is really excited because of all these endorsers that they have. And yeah, they actually have I don't know, I think they have what's that one guy? Well, he's the quarterback of that one team. You know that really good team? Oh, you don't watch football? Oh, well, yeah. What? Be quiet, I'm on the phone. Anyway, it's this Thursday, and if you can't come, that's okay, because I'm going to start doing them every week. But, yeah, you should totally come. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Oh, you're busy that night? What are you doing?
I have bunko.
No. Really? Okay. We can talk tomorrow. And
okay, I better go.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay,
you gotta go.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so I've been that girl because when we first got started, our our 2-minute story was like a 10-minute story because I had a ton of stuff to tell, and so I am just like what Jenny said. I'm that girl that wants to like share all the nitty-gritty details. So what we're going to do is really practice this, and so I posted on our Ruby Bootcamp page a couple of things for your homework. So one, I am happy to pair you all up, or if you guys just want to comment on that thread, you can pair yourself up. But you're going to use each other several times throughout Ruby Bootcamp over the next 6 weeks. So you're going to want to pair up with someone who is maybe not in your direct line. So like, for instance, Carrie is on here, and she's got several team members on here. So Carrie, you cannot pair up with one of your team members. You know, same thing, like, you know, I prefer people on Carrie's team to kind of reach out and branch out with some cross-line people. So it's up to you. I'm happy to pair you, or you can pair yourself, whatever y'all want to do. And then I reached out to some Ruby leaders and one Emerald leader. So Jamie Young is actually an Emerald leader on our team, and so she's the only Emerald. The rest of them are all Rubies. Everybody's either on Ashley's team, Lois's team, or Rachel's team, so kind of all cross-line people. I hope you guys are seeing kind of a pattern here. Your cross-line relationships are beyond important. I didn't hesitate to reach out to them and ask them, you know, to help my team. And so I really encourage you all to get to know each other and really start to kind of cultivate those cross-line relationships, because you're gonna be really glad you did as you grow in this business. But anyway, you're gonna want to. I see you guys are already commenting. You're gonna want to get out there and text them first thing in the morning. Please be respectful of their time. Please don't text them at 10 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, a decent hour. Be respectful of their business hours. So text them in the morning and go ahead and get a call scheduled, because I don't know what the weekend is like, and we have to have this done by Monday. So if you look in your Ruby Bootcamp homework, you will see there's a section where you will call them and ask them some questions. And so that's for, and then you're going to need to reach out to each other. So it won't take too long, just a little bit of time. Go back through here and get all your questions answered. You know, kind of scroll back through your little worksheets and answer all your questions. If you see me looking over, it's because I'm doing this with you. I have my notebook with all my notes from before, and I'm just scribbling in other ink. So if you guys want to, we can call in on the conference line. If you have questions tonight, or if you guys are, tired from the first night, we can wait and do it later. If you don't care, just go ahead and start commenting in the chat box and let me know if you want to call in, if you have questions or not. The other thing, while you all are commenting, is that I've reached out to Ryan Shepard to see if there is a recording on YouTube of tonight's lesson. If so, I'll try to post it on our Ruby Bootcamp page. They're very particular about sharing this, and so that's why we do it this way. So I would only be able to give you like 24 hours to watch it, to do a replay. So it's like lockdown on lock and key or something. I don't know, kind of crazy. But anyway, y'all text or comment in the little comment box and let me know in the chat box. Let me know if you want to call in or not. Just say yes or no, so I know if we need to call in. And I'll let you know as soon as I hear back from him if there is a way that we can. He hasn't responded yet, but if there's a way that we can watch a replay. Right, I'm not seeing any comments. So we will just use our Ruby Bootcamp page tonight. I'll be up for a little while, so if you have questions, just shoot me a text or a Facebook message, or I prefer us to use that Ruby Bootcamp page unless it's like something really private. But I'd prefer us to have all those questions on the Ruby Bootcamp page rather than in text message on my phone or in Facebook message, just simply because if you have that question, other people probably do too. So let's just go ahead and get it out there public and try to answer everybody's questions. I'm going to leave this up for just a few minutes, just in case. I know Lindsay was saying that she's a little bit behind because of the video not working and having the buffer. So I don't want you guys to lose that, so I'm going to leave it up for just a little bit. Thanks, Heather. All right. So if you guys are caught up, you're welcome to go ahead and jump off the call, and let's use our. Y'all are already doing it. Let's use our Facebook page to answer any questions that you all have, and let me know if you want me to pair you up or not. So hope you guys have an awesome night. Sleep tight. Oh, Kristen, Jamin just texted me, and now I see your comment. Um, if everybody wants to call in, we can. I'd planned on being here till 10:30, so I'm good. Whatever you guys want to do. I know Heather and Caitlin said they're good, so I'm fine with whatever you all decide. Just let me know if you want to call in. And it looks like Katie and Brooke say pair you up, so okay, I'll pair y'all up real quick. Woo. So Katie has found Ruby Bootcamp videos available. They are not supposed to be. So let me see what I can. Okay, I'm gonna, as you finish up, you guys are welcome to just go ahead and cut out. Woohoo! Ryan Shepherd to the rescue. So I am going to post. I'm posting right now the Ruby Bootcamp replays. I think, if I understand him correctly, these are not going to be available forever. Hang on. Heather Hatfield. You are rotten. Now I'm all creeped out. Okay, guys, I posted the replays on our Facebook page and all of the homework stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this broadcast. It looks like everybody's getting close to finish. So have an awesome night, and let me know if you have any questions.